Hello, and a warm welcome to the program. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Our focus is on the South today, but first, our top stories. Dangote refinery has confirmed what it describes as a minor fire incident at its affluent treatment plant in Lagos. A brief statement issued by its group head, corporate communications, Mr. Anthony Chejina, says there is no cause for alarm as the refinery is operating and there is no recorded injury or body harm to all its staff on duty. The refinery is located in Lekki area of Lagos and was commissioned by the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. The world is facing its seventh cholera pandemic, with more than 200,000 cases reported globally, including Nigeria. That's according to the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, in response to the cholera situation in the country. Professor Ali Pate adds that the federal government, alongside other partners, are working to strengthen disease control centers, improve primary healthcare facilities, and increase human resources across the state. He was a guest on our breakfast program, The Morning Brief.
We had anticipated the seasonal outbreaks, and several months ago, the president, in his wisdom, approved pre-positioning of contingency financing to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, so that we are ready with the resources, and that's what has been used so far. And this committee that has been formed, I believe that we would have additional resources mobilized, in addition to the technical and financing partners who are also joining in, because infectious diseases do not respect borders, and therefore it's a collective effort. The states also have an important role to play to release their own funding to the state health facilities to deal with the cases in their respective domains. Cholera outbreak that we are facing in this instance is part of a global phenomenon. As you know, we're in the seventh cholera pandemic, and this year alone, WHO reports more than 200,000 cases of cholera in 5 regions of the world, including Nigeria. Earlier this year in Southern Africa, lots of cases, but we are now beginning to see the uptick in Nigeria. Once that started in Lagos, in Ogoni, through the Center for Disease Control, NCDC, the technical working group was activated, which comprises multi-sectoral content experts, states, but also our development partners, technical agencies, to mobilize so that we can support those states to reduce the transmission and treat those who are affected. At the end of the day, cholera is a public health crisis, but it's also a disease that comes in the context of contamination of food, of water, of poor sanitation, of developmental challenges, and deficit in infrastructure. So we have to think about that as well. And open defecation is prevalent in many parts of our country. That is fueling this effort. So in responding to that, the Emergency Operations Center, which was activated by the NCDC this week, for instance, is to really get ahead of this outbreak so that we numb it. And the government also appointed a cabinet committee to mobilize across sectors: water, environment, agriculture, youth, health, and others, to really come together and work with state governments so that we can decisively stop this outbreak before it consumes a lot of our populations. But in the wider context, the health security of Nigeria requires us to be very sensitive and to have good surveillance systems, which at this moment they are strong. That's why we are able to pick these infectious disease outbreaks and be able to mobilize the resources to respond to that. But we have to be vigilant continuously. Otherwise, we could be surprised by infectious diseases.
The former governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai, has filed a fundamental rights suit at the Federal High Court sitting in the state capital against the State House of Assembly over denial of fair hearing during its investigation of all financial dealings in his 8-year administration. In the suit filed through his lawyer, Mr. Abdul Hakim Mustafa, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Madam El-Rufai is asking the court to declare the report of the Assembly probe null and void, having been denied fair hearing over the allegations leveled against him and his administration. The Kaduna State House of Assembly had in its probe report into the financial dealings of the El-Rufai administration indicted the former governor and some of his senior members of cabinet for alleged misappropriation of 423 billion naira meant as loans and contracts.
I'm here with Malam Nasir El-Rufai to file an application to enforce his fundamental rights. As we are all aware, the Kaduna State House of Assembly set up an ad hoc committee to investigate loan and other activities of the former administration. A lot of witnesses were called, and they took they did hearing and they admitted a lot of documents. But strangely, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who apparently was the target of the investigative committee, was never invited. The law is very clear. Everybody deserves to be given a hearing. The right to fair hearing is a natural right that inures into every human being. Malam Nasir El-Rufai a lot of allegations were made against him. He was not given a hearing at all. As a law-abiding citizen who believes in the rule of law and who believes that when there are infractions, you need to approach the court, he's here today before the federal court to enforce his right that every infraction they alleged, he was not given an opportunity to sit his own side of the story. And the law is clear about it. Any proceeding, be it court or quasi-tribunal, that it didn't give the parties concerned a hearing, the whole proceeding is void ab initio, and that's why we are here.
The River State government says the prime suspect in the explosion that rocked Port Harcourt, the state capital, yesterday has been found. The Commissioner for Health, Mrs. Adeze Ore, said the suspect was found at the State University Teaching Hospital. This is coming after the state government put all health providers on high alert to detain and report anyone with such injuries to the police or State Ministry of Health, believing that he may seek medical attention at public or private hospitals.
When a young man was brought to the River State University Teaching Hospital with alleged injuries sustained during what was said to be a road traffic accident, the medical personnel that were on hand to examine him and offer medical care were on alert and immediately recognized that the injuries that were seen on this individual were not in tandem with a road traffic accident and rather resembled injuries that would have come from blast. The individual was taken to the theater for immediate resuscitation because as at the time he was brought in, he was semi-conscious. But the medical personnel did the needful and immediately informed the River State government, immediately informed the Commissioner for Police in River State and the River State Ministry of Health about the presence of that individual in the facility, even when providing emergency medical care to revive and resuscitate him. He is currently stable. We are working in tandem with the River State Police Command, and so the hospital has been fully secured. The premises and the perimeter have been fully secured. The patient is undergoing current medical treatment. He is stable, and the police is doing their own part with carrying out the necessary investigations. Several individuals brought the patient. One is still with him, and all the others immediately found their way out of the facility. But of course, like I said, we are working with the Nigerian police force, and they will be carrying out their own investigative role.
Still in River State, committees set up by the governor to oversee the 23 local government areas have continued to carry out their functions despite being denied access to the council secretariat. Police have sustained the blockades at the various council offices in what the Inspector General of Police said was necessary to prevent a breakdown of law and order. While some of the caretaker chairmen continued with the inauguration and assignment of portfolios to committee members, others inspected some road projects and markets.
The current crisis over local government administration in Rivers State, which is an extension of the political conflict between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor Nyesom Wike, erupted a week ago. This has led to the police taking control of council secretariats to prevent potential security breaches as former chairmen and the newly appointed caretaker committees vie for control of the councils. Despite the police barricade, the caretaker committees have continued their functions elsewhere as directed by Governor Fubara.
We will not allow.
In Ikwere local government area, the caretaker chairman, Darlington Orji, conducted the swearing-in ceremony for his members and his appointees at the magistrate court in Elele community, with the magistrate, Obunezi Amadi, administering the oath of office. He appeals to the committee members to diligently perform their duties with a priority to ensure peace in the area.
We are carrying X in our hands. We will not indulge into any physical confrontation. We are not going to fight any person. Instead, we are going to continue to talk sense into our brothers in the other side.
In Andoni local government, the caretaker committee chairman Reginald Ekan undertook the inspection of the ongoing construction of the 15-kilometer Ngo-Oyoro-Koto by the state government. Speaking at the project site, Reginald, who was accompanied by some members of the caretaker committee and Andoni PDP stakeholders, promised to give the needed support to the River State government to ensure timely completion of the road project.
The observation of the work progress here is commendable. And then I want to use this opportunity to thank His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara to put a smile on the face of Andoni people. At the end of the day, by the time this road is finished, it will enlarge and extend our economic activity here.
Similarly, the caretaker committee chairman of Port Harcourt City local government, Ezebunwa Chamati, went on an inspection of the popular Rumwoji market in the Mike 1 area of the city, where he frowned at the conversion of sanitary facilities to shops.
Ordinarily, this is a toilet. It has been converted to shop. Look at the WC.
He also says the council is taking steps to ensure that residents of the state capital are protected against cholera following the outbreak of the disease in parts of the country.
It is a sad one that people who come to market, they don't have access to the restrooms. And you see them defecating and urinating under the staircase or on the walkway. And you're causing disease germs for other people. But we will not take it. And that is why I'm here. I've ordered that those toilet locations be shut down until further notice. It will be converted back to its original state.
Mr. Chamati, who chairs the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Algon, and River State, also responded to the protest by former council chairman over the police barricade of local government headquarters across the state.
Today, you can see that I begin to wonder, the people that have been defeated by law, what do you expect? They resort to protest. And you can see the low turnout of their protests across the state. What does it tell? It shows that Rivers people have left them. Rivers people is no longer with them. They can no longer be deceived.
The 7-member caretaker committee in each of the local government areas include a non-indigent, a non-PDP member, and 1 member of the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees.
Still to come on the program, High Prep meets with stakeholders in Ogoni land regarding the cleanup exercise. We'll give you details of that and other stories, so join us again. Welcome back. To demonstrate a commitment to the well-being of people in Ogoni land, and to ensure the effective progress of remediation and restoration efforts, the presidency has organized a roundtable meeting with stakeholders there. The event took place in Bori, the traditional headquarters of Ogoni land in Kana local government area, and served as a platform for discussions on matters relating to cleanup and other developmental issues.
The
roundtable meeting on Niger Delta development stands out as it brings the discussions home to Ogoni land. The gathering is an initiative of the presidency under the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement South-South in collaboration with the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPRAP. The essence is to form a closer relationship with the people of Ogoni land and help the presidency track the efficiency of the projects whilst the cleaning and restoration projects are ongoing.
Our primary focus here today is on inclusion and collaboration. As mandated by the President, we are leaving no one behind. And it goes beyond bringing rice and encouraging December or other forms of surface-based solutions as necessary as they may be.
HYPRAP project coordinator Professor Nene Barinizabe notes that community engagement remains a vital aspect of the project and calls for continuous support.
The construction work, the renovation work, creates direct employment for women and women. Let me say that I am somebody that promotes gender and social inclusion. So when I became a coordinator of HYPRAP, I increased women participation in our project from 5% to 40%.
Stakeholders also make essential contributions.
We are demanded as a people that the entire project should be reviewed, that the Tinubu administration gives generation, transmission, and distribution as an independent thing. Ogoni has enough gas. We have demanded that the power project be reviewed.
Responding to questions, HYPRAP's project coordinator provides a detailed update on the ongoing remediation projects and livelihood restoration efforts.
We have 130 projects going on concurrently, and I've listed some of them. For the land remediation, we have 39 lots for middle-risk complex sites that is ongoing. For shoreline cleanup, 34. For mangrove restoration, 9. If you add that, it gives you 7. And other projects, 14 lots of water. So 130 or 30, from over 130, going for forever. And that is what acceleration is all about.
The roundtable meeting in Bori symbolizes efforts by the presidency to create a more cordial relationship between the federal government and the Ogonis. It gives a signal of commitment to not only environmental restoration, but also the improvement of the living standards of the communities. Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
The Cross River State government has launched a free medical outreach for pregnant women, children under 5 and the elderly under the Sweet Prince Palliative in Calabar South local government area. Speaking during the commissioning ceremony, Governor Bassey Otu emphasized that the program fulfills his administration's commitment to prioritize the health and well-being of the people.
Residents of Iyangasan community in Calabar South local government area of Cross River State have suffered lack of quality healthcare services as well as good road network to access the urban cities, especially to meet their healthcare needs.
We will use this platform to beg him to come into our aid on the road network because our road network is very, very bad and some properties and life have been lost.
This is a great achievement for Iyangasan people. It's a great achievement for this local government area too, because it's going to help especially the midwives, the women and other children as well.
As a way of reducing the rate of infant and maternal mortality, Governor Bassey Otu has flagged off the Sweet Prince Palliative Healthcare Program to provide free medical services to pregnant women, children and the aged across Iyangasan community.
We have a warehouse here for drugs that goes out to about 6 states, and then we have other stores which is going to operate in terms of supplying the medicals to our people all over the state.
The program will include various upgrades and enhancements to healthcare facilities.
I will go around, we have selected some sites, particularly sites that are rural, sites that are accessible to everyone, and sites that can be upgraded to provide the basic infrastructure, human resources, and general services.
Everything about the palliative letter is completely free and is targeted at the vulnerable groups and the less privileged. Who are these vulnerable groups? They are the pregnant women, the elderly, and the under 5.
Residents commend the governor for giving back to society.
The day I came here, I saw the news, so our honorable governor, our street princess, is working on this place. So may God Almighty continue to bless and keep it for us.
See how he has transformed the place. You can imagine the peace suddenly that have taken over our state. It's so wonderful. We really appreciate him for what he's doing. He should.
Governor Otu also commissioned the State Essential Drug Warehouse, which was vandalized by the 2019 NSAS protest.
The Joint National Safety Committee of Nigeria, a tripartite transport safety council, has pledged to work with the Delta State government to ensure that at least 3 truck parks are built in the state. After inaugurating the state chapter of the committee, its national chairman also held a press briefing insisting that the federal government is showing commitment to improve safety on the roads and avoid frequent crashes involving trucks and other articulated vehicles.
According to the Federal Road Safety Commission, in 2018, a total of 650 tankers and trailers were involved in crashes, with over 90% of the affected vehicles used for haulage transportation for over 30 years. These crashes caused by trucks and other articulated vehicles, especially those that are indiscriminately parked along the highway, has gained the attention of the federal government, hence the establishment of the Joint National Transport Safety Committee. They immediately hit the ground running by domesticating the same committee at the sub-national level, and now the national chairman is here in Asaba, Delta State, to inaugurate the Delta State chapter, as well as engage the media in highlighting its mandate and what they seek to achieve.
This year, we have recorded various truck accidents and also crashes in various zones of the federation. We cannot continue to poke our heads in sands because facts are facts and the scenario is getting darker. Hence, the reasons why the Joint National Transport Safety Committee was established as an intergovernmental agency partnership towards reducing these menace across our highways and the federation at large.
They also pledged to work with the state government to see to the establishment of truck parks that will help move these trucks indiscriminately parked on the highway.
We are going to support the Delta State government in this. We are going to support them fully. Take it for instance, the national member of the Joint National Transport Safety Committee of Nigeria has taken that precedent that by the special grace of God, our partnership with Delta State government, we are going to have minimum of 3 truck parks in this state. If we have these truck parks, the drivers will not pass, the truck drivers will not be parking on our roads. Today, presented the certificate of appointments.
The event also features presentation of certificates to the chairman of the Delta State chapter and other members of the state chapter. An effective collaboration with all the relevant stakeholders towards promoting trucks' operational safety compliance in Delta State, in South-South and Nigeria at large is a welcome development. Hopefully, this will help bring to an end the high number of casualties recorded as a result of these unsafe practices.
Stakeholders in Nigeria's justice system have highlighted inadequate pay, poor public perception, interference in appointments and security concerns as some of the issues affecting the independence of the judiciary. In a forum for legal professionals in Benin City, the Edo State capital, the Labour Party candidate for the Edo governorship election, Mr. Olumide Apata, also called for the strengthening of the National Judicial Council. Our correspondent, Jessica Olubosere, has this report.
Key stakeholders in Nigeria's justice system assembled in this hall in Benin City, the Edo State capital, engaged in a session meant to address the independence of the judiciary within Nigeria's political structure. A chief speaker on the occasion is a former president of the Nigerian Bar Association and governorship candidates for the Labour Party in the September 21 Edo governorship election, Mr. Olumide Apata. Political interference in judicial appointments, judicial processes, and vulnerability of the judiciary to physical threats, as well as contempt of court, are some of the challenges he lists.
Perhaps the most blatant challenge to judicial independence is the frequent disregard for court orders by the executive branch. When the government selectively enforces judicial decisions or outrightly ignores them, it undermines the very essence of the rule of law and judicial authority. The problem is particularly acute in cases involving national security or high-level corruption, where the executive has sometimes cited overriding public interest to justify non-compliance with court orders.
Among suggestions for a more independent judiciary is strengthening of the National Judicial Council, ensuring it's further empowered and reformed, insulating it from executive and judicial influence, expanding its investigative and disciplinary powers, improving the transparency of its operations and decision-making process.
A situation where the Chief Justice of Nigeria sits as chair of the NJC, chair of the FJSC, and Chief Justice of Nigeria presents, into my mind, a conundrum of sorts. It's a problem that would always affect the efficacy of that institution. We must split those offices. One man cannot hold all three offices. The outcomes will, I leave the outcomes to your imagination.
Another opinion is that other staff of the judiciary, aside from judges, receive adequate compensation for their services.
When we are advocating independence, remuneration for judiciary, everybody in the system should be taken care of.
It's the experts' belief that with unwavering commitment, strategic action, and collective effort, Nigeria can build an independent judiciary that serves as a beacon of justice, integrity, and hope for all Nigerians. Jessica Olugusere, Channels Television News.
That's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinlami.